Let's try some question. In this video, we'll cover question 35, 37, 41, and 42. Pause the video and check out the answers later.
2,000 years later.
Okay, first question is asking you a scenario like this. The blue ball is not fixed and it's kind of moving down like this. And then it asks you to draw the forces, basically free body diagram on the B, like the blue ball basically. So when it is at the top, I suppose it's just standing still. So what you may have is simply the weight and also reaction force, or normal force if you like to put n, that's fine too. Pay attention that the length of these two should be the same. Just to illustrate the arrow clearly, then I try to draw a side off, but in fact they should be collinear, like they should be parallel. Or parallel is not a good word. I mean, yeah, they should be on the same line exactly, so that the force will balance. In fact, if you try to draw something like this, it wouldn't make sense even they are the same length, because in that case, in a little bit more complex physics system, then we have to consider the torque. That it will be covered in option B. I know in IGCSE you have learned about it, but then only in option B, IB physics, will cover torque. That means moment. Anyway, so let's take a look at part B. The point where it's about to leave the surface of the sphere. So still, you should still have the weight, but then since it is about to leave the surface, then there is no reaction force. Simply as that. Yeah, I think that is all. You don't even need to talk about friction, because as we know, friction equals to mu n, right? So if there's no n because it's about to leave, so you are basically barely touching or barely not touching the surface. So in that case, n would become 0, and so no matter what coefficient it is, then F friction will still be 0. So it doesn't really matter whether it's frictionless or not, there won't be any friction. Next question. The question said the spring is being compressed. So as we said, there will be restoring force. So the spring must want to go back to the original length, which is longer. So there must be a force that push the block to the right. We'll call it, let's just call it tension or restoring force by the string. That's fine too. More precisely, maybe it would be best if we put here, so tension like this, and then it said it is rest on a rough table, so there must be a force that is kind of counteract. I don't know which one would be larger, they didn't say so, right? So if at the end the block would not be moving, then the friction should be the same as the tension given by the spring, and so the block would be at the end staying there. And let's not forget vertically we have weight and also reaction force. And yeah, that's all for this question. Next question. This question is actually quite interesting. Well, I guess we all know that it is impossible to keep this line completely perfectly horizontal. There must be some angle between them, like this, okay, at the end. So there should be a bit of angle like this. So we are going to explain why it is impossible. Usually when we try to prove this, I personally prefer using a more mathematical way to show. So if you could try to think about how you can show it mathematically if you didn't. So you may want to pause the video if you want, or listen to my explanation here. So if you understand our aim, then, and if you really want to use the mathematical approach, then you should know that we are trying to prove whether theta here, could it be 0 or not, right? Or it has to be larger than 0. So we have to think about from a physics perspective, and in that case, then we have to think about the force. So for the force, we have weight here, and we have the tension here, one tension and another tension, and obviously it will be symmetrical, and so in that case, we have to think about vertically like if you try to decompose the tension from the angle itself, then vertically, maybe we can put here vertically, then we will have T, this is theta, so this vertical component should be T sine theta, and we actually have two strings, so that in total there will be two together, so you may put down T sine theta plus T sine theta, or by simply you can just times 2, and these two will be the upward force that balance with the weight. Okay, so in that case, then we will have sine theta equals to W over 2T. This is what we would have for equation 1. Equation 2, we will have, well, we wouldn't find it meaningful because horizontally it will be just T cosine equals to T cosine, right? Won't be very useful, so let's just forget about it. Over here, then we have to think about that. Since we should put that since W is non-zero, well, if it is 0, then we don't have to say anything, right? Then you can just, of course, tie a string, like if there's no mass, then mass is no weight and mass is 0, then yeah, technically you can really hang a string that is perfectly horizontal, but still, given that this string is massless, okay, then you can do it. If the mass of the string is not negligible, then eventually you will have something like this, right? This actually is a very interesting problem. You can study I think even in IA you may study this as well, like for different length of string. Some of them may be like deeper like this, or like shallower like this, right? This is a very interesting problem for civil engineering, for bridge. This is actually a very important idea. Anyway, back to here. So since W does not equal to 0, tension for sure it won't be as well in that case. So for sine, well, I should say it should be greater than 0. Okay, I think that is better. So in that case, sine theta for sure that would be greater than 0. And so since sine theta greater than 0, then theta cannot be 0 degree in that case, right? So therefore it cannot be horizontal, because only when you are having 0 degree, then the string will become perfectly horizontal. So I hope this mathematical way can help you to reassure that this is really true from our physics perspective. Some people may try to use the words to explain. Maybe you will find something like that in your textbook model answer. But I do really like using these to show, and it's much easier for people to discuss or make argument using mathematics. And mathematics apparently is the language in physics. Next question. This is also another very interesting and classic physics question. And in this question, they say they ask you to explain which string will break first if we do it differently. So here there's a diagram, there's a box here, and there are two parts of string, right? So let me call it string 1 and string 2. So here in part A, it said you will pull the bottom string slowly with increasing force. So what happened is, first of all, we should think about is free-body diagram again. So from the point of view of the box, maybe I'll draw it outside here. You will have the weight of the box. You can't say it's massless, so there must be some weight. At the same time, the box will experience an upward force because of the tension given by the string. Think about this. If the box is not moving, there must be a certain force pulling it up, right? So that must be the string pulling it up. So let's call it T1 from string 1, or upper 1. If you like to use up, U is fine too. And then there is another string that is what we are pulling right now, and I call it T2. So think about this. Before it breaks, what happens should be T1 equals to W plus T2, because upward force equal to downward force if net force equal to 0, right? Before anything happens. And think about this. If you keep increasing T, T2, then the total sum of these will be greater and greater and greater. So since the question says they are the identical string to the second one, so both strings will have a limit, the same limit though. I don't know what it is, but it could be say 100 Newton, for example. Then whenever it reaches 100 Newton, then that string will break. So for example, if the weight of the block is say this is 1 kg, then the weight would be 10 Newton. Then by the time you add the force from T2 pulling it down is 90, well let's say it's 89 Newton, and so T1 will be 99 Newton, so everything is still fine, so nothing will break at this point. But then maybe next time you increase the force to 90, then T1 will become 100 Newton. So in that case, T1 will break first, because apparently this would experience a greater force always earlier than T2. So that's why for part A, the upper one will break first. Okay, there's a video I'll show you later on in an actual physical experiment, and you can actually do it too if you got this set up right. And part B is asking you, so what if we pull the bottom string with an abrupt, that means a sudden pull down. So in this case, then we cannot apply the equation here, because whenever we do it abruptly, then the force will not be transferred that quickly. So you could imagine that the box itself has an inertia, and if you pull it quickly, then you may be able to pull greater than maybe 100 Newton. Then this string will already be broken in that case. So talking about abruptly, and of course actually there's an assumption with a great force. Well, but it's hard to say how great it is. I mean, if you really try it to be like really abrupt, really large amount of Newton of force, then you could really do that. So that in that case, the bottom one will break first. Okay, so this is some idea, some interesting idea, like you pulling the same string but with different way of pulling it, and you may have different result. Let me show you a video. So this video show you the setup of the question that we just mentioned, and this guy is amazing. Apparently he's a physics teacher as well. His name is called Paul Hewitt, and he was one of the physics teacher I learned from at the beginning. Like I really want to give credit and shout out to him. He helped me to learn and understand how to teach physics as well. So go and check out this video, and you can understand and witness how it can be done in reality.